Hello, hello. It's Barb Reed, the Wexford Stamper, and it is Wednesday. It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday night, and hello, Deb. Hello, Rise. Thank you for joining and remembering. So sorry I missed yesterday, but I am back and excited to share my new project today. Today is day 6. So we are only just halfway through. Hey, Anne, help! Oh, hello, that's better. I thought you were in distress or something there, Anne. Glad to see it was just a hello. Great to see you. All right, we're going to get started, ladies, and the others can jump on when they get here. All right, so this is my 10 Days of Halloween series, and today is day 6. And we are going to be making this cute little fragrance spray gift box. Today I thought I would make something that was not edible. I know some people like to give things that aren't candy, and this is such a super cute idea. And the fragrance spray is from Bath and Body Works, which is a place I love, and they have a lot of great sales going on now. And what's fun about the fragrance sprays is you can get something that's seasonal. Like this one is Marshmallow Pumpkin Latte. So if you want a smell like that, there you go right there. And then another one I have over here is Golden Sunflower. So these are just small little 3-ounce fragrance sprays from Bath and Body Works, and these are a nice cute little gift for someone during the Halloween season or fall. All right, so let me quickly go over some of the products we're going to be using this evening, and those would be, just like we have in the last 5 projects, we are going to be using the Gingham Cottage DSP. Love this. Not only am I going to get a lot of good use out of it for Halloween, but Christmas and Easter, I'll be able to use this paper. This is a mega pack. It's 48 sheets. Really, really worth your money. You can use it for so many different occasions. And then we are going to be using the Scary Cute stamp set. Great little silhouettes of the trick-or-treaters and some really nice sentiments. And finally, we're going to be using the black and white gingham ribbon. So those are the 3 projects I've been using for all 3 products for all the projects. And that will continue till the very end of our 10 days. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. As you know, as with every other project that I put on Facebook and then goes on to my blog, there is a downloadable PDF that you can download and have a hard copy if you like that. And I always include a little picture of what the box will look like when you cut away the excess paper, and that is really a good visual to help you know where to cut. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Got to keep my paper over here so I know the dimensions. All right, here is our piece of cardstock. We're going to be using the Calypso Coral. Remember I said the Calypso Coral is a great Halloween orange, as is Pumpkin Pie. So both of those have paper in the stack that will match. So you could use either of these in your in the pack to make your boxes, because there's paper to coordinate. And then since there's so much black and white paper, you can always pair it up with, this is Gorgeous Grape. And then this one, the little lip balm, I used the Parakeet Party. So all different kind of options with this great gingham paper. Okay, so we're starting out here with the Calypso Coral cardstock cut at 9 5/8 by 7. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring up our scoring board here. Let's go ahead and score on the long side first. On the long side, we're going to score at 1 1/4, 2 1/2, 8. Okay, 1 1/4, 2 1/2, 8. All right, then we're going to turn it on the short side, and we're going to go to 1 5/8. That's 1 tick mark past the half. 1 5/8. 3 1/4. 4 7/8. That's 1 tick before 5 inches, and 6 1/2. You can see that these are going to be the panels, the vertical panels on our box. Okay, that is it. That is all our scoring. And I'm going to go ahead and put my scoring board away. And let's go ahead and grab my bone folder. And we're going to make some nice firm creases in the box. Always important to do that because that helps your box come together a lot more easily. And the side panels and the front panels will fit together much nicer. Okay, so there we go. All done with my bone folder. What a great tool. All right, you can see all, oops, there's one I didn't even score. Hold on, now to crease this one. There we go. Now we've got them all ready to go. Okay, so this is what we have to start. You'll see that the one end has the double panels. This is the top, okay? Because this is going to be, let me grab this here quick. This is going to be the lid, the kind of the two-paneled lid, the ones that come together like a tent, and then the two at the top that are flush together that we can thread the ribbon through. That's why we have those two sections there. So that is going to be the top. Now I'm going to grab the template here. Okay, and we're going to make our paper look just like this. All right, so since we have the bottom down here, this is going to be the bottom flaps of our box. So let's go ahead and take care of those first. First thing we're going to do is cut out this tiny little rectangle here. We're not going to need this. So I'm just going to cut up to the first horizontal score line and then just cut that off. I always angle it a little bit so when the box comes together, it doesn't interfere with the flaps on the bottom. Then I'm going to go up all 3 of these vertical score lines to the first horizontal. Okay, then I'm going to go back and I'm going to wedge the one farthest to the right, skip one, and then this one here, because those flaps will go inside the box, and then the last 2 square flaps will fold over top. So there we have our bottom ready to go. Okay, now for our top section, we're going to have to cut out these 2 sections here. Let me show you where they relate to. That's these 2 boxes here. They're going to go, and these 2 here. Okay, and then we're going to also take away those 2 there, the small little rectangles. Okay, so we'll have these 2 here that are going to pair up to make that unique closure at the top. Okay, so let's cut these out. And you always want to cut away on the outside of your score line. Okay, so if I'm going to cut this here, I want to make sure I'm cutting away the score line. So I'm going to cut to the outside of the score line on both sides. And that leaves the panels that are left looking much smoother. So you always want to include the score line when you're cutting away panels from a box. Okay, just looks a lot smoother and professional looking that way. All right, last one here. We're going to cut away these 2 little rectangles, And we're just going to leave this long 1/2 inch rectangle here. That is going to be for our glue, and that closes gluing inside the box. All right, so there we have it. We have our paper cut just as the template was there. All right, now one thing I like to do here for the top of the box, I'm going to go ahead and round the corners of that flap that we tied together with the ribbon. So I'm just going to go ahead and use my corner rounder. This is no longer available through Stampin' Up! I still love to use it, but I'm sure you could find corner rounders at the craft store or on Amazon. Much probably for less money than this one costs, because this is like a triple punch. All right, so we're going to put that away now. Before we put our box together, we're going to go ahead and place our designer series paper on. Okay, as we have in the last ones, we're going to be using the gingham again. We're gray and black gingham here, and let me share the sizes of these. You're going to need 4 panels measuring 5 1/4 by 1 3/8, and then these 2 that go up on top on the closure, and they are 1 3/8. I'm sorry, 1 3/8 by 1 1/8. Both of those. So 4 of these, 2 of the smaller ones. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and grab my glue. Anybody try any of my treat boxes so far? Anybody have some great ideas for their treat boxes, what they're planning on doing? I know it's a while away. You might not be quite thinking of it yet, but I always like to do these a little early so you can, if you want to try some of these, that you have plenty of time to get the materials you'll need. So what I'm doing here is I'm just gluing each of these panels into the long cardstock panel there that we scored. So that will go all the way around, front, back, and sides on our box. Okay, one's left. All right. Okay, now up here we have our flaps. These little squares below are rounded panels we're going to put in our little square. So now we have all our designer series paper. Oh, are you gonna? Oh, that's great, Deb. I haven't seen any of the lip balms like with the real Halloween theme anywhere. But you can get the lip balm size that I have. You can really get those in any grocery store. All right, now here we go. We're gonna put our box together. I put a little thin line of glue there. I'm gonna turn it over and I'm gonna close this side in so that my glue strip is facing up. Then I'm just gonna take this side here and fold it right on top. And that's the easiest way to get your sides of your box to line up without getting glue all over and without getting a funny angle on it that it doesn't close properly. All right, so there is our box coming together. Let's go ahead and do the bottom of our box next. Remember, we have 2 that we cut, so those are gonna go in first, those 2 little panels or flaps. Then I'm gonna put a little glue on this guy and on this guy. Okay, and that one goes first and that one goes second. And then I'm just gonna put it right up like this. I'm gonna grab my golden sunflower fragrance mist and that's gonna go right inside, and that helps to hold the glue down until everything dries there. Okay, next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna fold up our flaps, and the 2 flaps at the top, they press together just like that. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and put our ribbon through. And the way I do that is I'm gonna lay it on its side, and you wanna make sure it's even. that all your rounded corners are meeting together. Then this doesn't have to be carefully measured. I just kind of eyeball it. And you want to put in your punches side by side, just like that. Okay? Now for this one, I'm going to go ahead and use our lovely gingham, which is the perfect ribbon for fall, for Christmas, for anything, you name it. Okay? And when I cut it off the spool, I cut it at an angle so I have like a little point. And I use that point kind of like a needle or a pointed tool. And I just can fish it right through. It makes it a lot easier to get it through the holes if it starts out as a point. And then I can't get it through. Okay, as soon as I say it's easy, then I can't get it done. All right, now I'm coming back through the other side. So you go holding it straight facing you, you go back through the holes, up through the holes. Okay, so you want to go through both holes both ways. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and give it a nice tie. And that's how quickly that box comes together. Pretty simple. Simple design. You can keep it pretty easy, but it's pretty fancy to put together. All right, I'm going to cut off my little ends here. And there's our box. I'm going to go ahead and put that aside for now, and I'm going to grab my other pieces here that I have. Okay, if I show you the original here, I used a die from the Tailor-Made Labels for the label or the die that is on the front of the box. I needed something pretty slender just because of how this box and how slender the fragrance spray is. So I thought I'll just use a tag die, and then I just kind of cover up the hole with my little Frankenstein guy there. So I used one of those, and these are great also to get for Christmas and anytime you need to make any kind of a tag for a gift. So this is kind of an unusual use, but hey, it's working for me. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the little moon image, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp that up here in the right hand corner top of my little tag. And then I have my little boo, and I'm going to stamp that a couple of times on the upper portion of the tag as well. Love this little boo, it's cute. There's a boo. There's a boo. Okay, so far so good. Okay, I'm going to grab a scrap of my basic white, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp my little Frankenstein guy. I've used him on several of my boxes. I just think he's so cute. But there's also, let me see, also a little Dracula, a little fairy. So there's those that are the exact same size as well. But for some reason I have been drawn to Frankenstein. Not sure why, but hey, and what it says about me. But Frankenstein's pretty cool. All right, now you will have to take a couple of seconds here to do some fussy cutting with your paper snips. But Frankenstein isn't too much of a detailed image, and I really don't go directly around him because you're really just attaching him to a tag that is also white, so you're not really going to see that much of the outlines. They're not going to really stick out. So just do a quick fussy cut on this. No need to get too crazy. Okay, and there we go. There is our little dude. Okay, let me cut up here between his feet a little bit. Maybe that's why I'm drawn to Frankenstein. He has gigantic feet just like me. That's got to be it. Okay, so there we go. Cut that tiny little piece out there. And there is our little Frankenstein guy. Okay, I am going to now take my box and I'm going to place the tag right here, flat down on my box. And you'll see that there's just a little bit of the Designer Series paper that sticks out on both sides, because it is kind of hard to find a die cut that's that thin, but this one just worked perfectly. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and adhere that to the front of my box. Okay, next I'm going to grab a couple of dimensionals and I'm going to attach my little Frankenstein, and he will cover that little hole there in the bottom of the tag, and no one will be aware of it even being there. There we go. There is our little Frankenstein. And last of all, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put the little trick or treat here at the bottom. Now, there is not just a plain trick or treat sentiment in this, so you're going to have to do a little bit of fussy cutting, but the sentiment I'm going to use is trick or treat, you're so sweet. Now, I've used that for a couple others before, but this time I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp it on my Calypso Coral in the Memento ink, and then I'm just going to cut out the trick or treat part. Okay, not the whole sentiment, just my trick or treat part. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp it on my Calypso Coral, and then I'm just going to take my paper snips and just cut out the part that I want to keep for my box. And I cut it pretty close just because the width of the box is so narrow and I don't really want it to stick off the box too much. All right, so there we have it. There is the trick or treat. Okay, now all we have left to do, I'm going to go ahead and turn this over, and I'm going to take this dimensional here and I'm going to cut it in half with my snips, and then take the two pieces and apply them to the back of my sentiment. There we go. Put that away. Go ahead and take the backings off my half dimensionals here. And then I'm going to place this right at the bottom. And I did. I angled it a little bit just like that. Make sure I get it in the middle as best I can. Here we go. There it is. Trick or treat. See how easy that was to put together? And the nice opening there with our nice little closure at the top. So that is the fragrance mix box. It's a great little way to dress up you can get the fragrance mist right now for under $4. And they're a great gift and they smell so good. And I do not have any stock in Bath and Body Works, but I do love the place. So hope you give this one a try. And I will be back again tomorrow, which is Thursday, for the 7th day. And then I'm going to take off Friday and Monday. I'm going to be away. We are driving down to a football game down in South Carolina. So I won't be back again till next Tuesday. So I will be here tomorrow for day 7. And then we're going to have to wait a little bit to finish up 8, 9, and 10 next week. All right. So I hope you give some of these craft projects a try. See which one of the treat boxes you like the best. And let me know if I can answer any questions for you. So have a wonderful week, and I will see you tomorrow, same time. Take care and happy stamping. Bye now.